Okay. Well, this is that, or that at least was my alternate plan for making armor. I was going to make it for Commander German Shepherd there. But anyway, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start talking about the M8 rifle that I'm working on. And this is one of the templates I've gotten. I'll put a link for this down in the description below. And anyway, what's going on here? This is the second template. This is one I found in one of the, I think, the RPF forums. So as you can see, the lines didn't scale up very well when I enlarged the photo, and I'll talk about that here in just a second, or excuse me, the file. But on the other hand, it gives you a pretty good idea of the approximate sizes that everything's supposed to be size relationship, and that's really the thing you're going for again, is to make sure you're getting the proportions correct. So anyway, let's go back to this. Go back to this other template I got. Now I printed off an extra one, so I didn't mind sacrificing this one to work on the rifle. But what I did was I went into Microsoft Publisher, and the JPEG with the purple drawing on it, I just clipped out the appropriate part of that. And again, the link's going to be in the video description down below. And so anyway, I put it into Microsoft Publisher, and then I stretched it out so the total length is about 29 inches, I think. Again, it does, the exact length doesn't matter. That's the approximate distance you wanted. So then I cut the template out, as you can see here. And then last night I went down on the floor and I actually cut out a couple pieces of foam. Now what I did, if you look on the Bioweapons FX blog, he actually took the template, laid it diagonally across a long sheet of foam, and basically sacrificing in one entire sheet of foam just for one piece of the template. And the thing is, or excuse me, one rifle cutout. And the thing is, you're going to need two of these, as you can see, for the rifle itself. And then you're going to need at least two more other pieces, and I'll talk about those here in a moment. But anyway, what I did was I took a different approach. I actually went on took a scrap piece that I had that was long, that was going to add enough length, just glued them together. And when I did that, I made sure that I took a craft stick and I just make sure I worked the glue all in these pieces, or all inside these the linking bits here. And I had solid glue coverage. And you see, yeah, I got some squeeze out here, and that's not a big deal because this is going to end up getting covered up and cleaned up. But it's holding together very well. It's fairly strong. And then, but when you do this, make sure you do one textured piece, or glued up textured piece length like that. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Put it at one end of the cutout, and then put the complementary piece at the other end of the cutout. You don't want these same pieces over the same area, because you could, I'm not saying you will, but you could end up with a structural weakness. At least that's something I've learned from woodworking. Don't match your seams up. So let's go to the second part of this now. Again, I cut this out last night, and I made a mistake. I don't know if it's very obvious, but what I did was I cut both pieces from the same side of the foam. And what that means is when I glued these together, I have one smooth side and one textured side showing. All right, no big deal. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go out with the power sander later on, and I'll just sand all this texture off. It's going to end up being an extra step that's going to end up being kind of a pain in the ass. Now, as you can see, the edges here cut, they're pretty rough. But again, the plan is to go out, sand these down, and then I'm going to have to work with a Dremel tool. There you go. A Dremel tool and maybe the hot knife to cut some more of these parts out. But so anyway, what I'm going to end up doing though for the next two pieces is taking off, well, basically this trigger guard assembly right here, and then I'm going to take off the buttstock back here. That's going to come off. So basically, I'm going to just and the sight assembly up here. So basically, I'm just going to be left with the both barrels, and that will give me an extra about a half an inch on each side of this. And now, if you look at the overhead view, and here it is of this template. then you can see that the width on it with one extra sheet, one extra piece of foam on each side is going to be about right. So with that, I think I'm in good shape. So anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out these extra pieces of foam, do the sand. Well, you know what? Actually, I was just thinking I may not even need to sand this, but then this part will definitely need to be sanded because that's going to show. So anyway, I'm sorry, a little ADD this morning. So anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut one extra piece of foam to give me the thickness or the width on the gun that I need. Put those together, see how they look, see how they feel, and then all these details here, instead of trying to carve them out, take them down off the foam, what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to take the thin, the 2mm and the 5mm craft foams, and I'm just going to build up. And so what I'll do is I'll end up sacrificing this template and cutting out pieces of foam to build them up. Now, for things like, say, these circles here, these are actually raised pieces. I'm just going to go to the hardware store and see if I can find like some PVC caps or something like that would work there. These little spots right here are for screws, and I was looking in my hardware drawer and I found these little screws right here. These are tiny. I think these are like for picture hanging screws or something like that. But anyway, I'm going to go out and look for some of those today, and as you can see, they are about the perfect size right there for taking these screws. So that'll give that'll be one of those little details, because it'll make this look like is actually a piece of metal or a piece of heavy plastic that's being held in place by screws. So again, just something else, just little details. Haven't quite figured out how I'm going to do the do the sight assembly, but I've seen some ideas online, and there's bits and pieces of things laying around the house that I could certainly use without having to buy anything. So one last thing, real quick, when I'm talking about this template, here's a second printout I've got of it. So if I need to, I can cut it out, tape it together, and I have a second pattern. But basically, I've had this second one here for reference purposes while I'm doing my work. But what I did was I went to Microsoft Publisher, and the reason I use Publisher is because Publisher will do this tile printout thing that you see right here, where we'll print the file out across multiple sheets. I don't think you can do that in PowerPoint. I don't think you can do it in Word or anything like that. Please, experiment if you want to. But there's probably some kind of web service out there that would do this kind of printing for you. I do know that one of the poster boards that I bought, the graded poster board that I bought for the armor, that will let you, they have this printing service that they can do that with. So, and it's free if you buy the poster board, and the poster board's only a few dollars. So that's another idea if you have it. Failing that, buy a piece of the poster board and just transfer the drawing onto there, and then you have a large template. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn this off because I think I've rambled way too much on a Saturday morning already, and I guess that's it. I'll check back in a little later with the last tweaks that I've done on the armor, and well, see how we do on the rifle. Bye.